Yeah, right. The chocolate part on the top is very difficult to melt. It takes forever. And it calls for 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, which is about 2/3 of chocolate chips. 2/3 of a cup of chocolate chips, if you want to know it that way. And 1 tablespoon of butter. So here's the butter. Then it says just melt them both in a double boiler, stirring to make sure they're homogeneous. Then pour across the top of the second layer, which unfortunately is not even which unfortunately is not even ready yet because of the top. Anyway, that's the butter in there. And don't want butter wrapper, and that would taste nasty. And then throw in the chocolate chips so they melt too. Otherwise, it's just butter on top, and who wants that? We already have cream in the middle. Right. So we'll leave them there to stew for ages. Now, the most important thing is now that the bottom crust is ready to have this stuff spread all over it, we gotta get it out and spread it. Because otherwise, you don't have Nanaimo bars, you just have a very weird mix of eggs, chocolate, coconut, pecans, and all kinds of other weird things. And then you have this weird gravy thing, which you shouldn't feed to the cat because she'll end up bouncing off the walls. So instead we're going to spread it around. Now according to the recipe, it says spread around with even motions with something that looks like this, and then set head. Wait, who wrote that? Set head on fire. Who did that? Right, so just dollop it in the middle. And it's already to pick up a little bit of the crust with this, that really can't be helped. And, well, again, not so much like watching paint dry, but you get the general idea. You spread it round and round and round and round. You want to cover the whole surface to about the same thickness, which, depending on how you patted it down, might be tricky because it might not be even. And it should be about as thick as peanut butter, maybe a bit less thick, so it can actually spread properly. But it shouldn't be so thin that it doesn't harden nicely when it's put in the fridge for its stage, which takes half an hour. Right. Now, there's still a goodly chunk in the bowl, so we're going to get at that. Because the layer will be about 1 centimeter thick when it's done, so you really want as much of this as you can get. Alright, that's all of it, just about. And see how nicely it spreads with this thing. Just working with a nice flexible blade so that you don't end up cutting into the lower layers when you shouldn't. Which, by the way, is all the time when you're making these things. And as you can see over there in the pot, I have the chocolate chips and the butter stewing nicely. They should look about like that, and the recipe lied. It really needs 2 tablespoons of butter to get the proper consistency, not just 1. So, otherwise it's too thick, doesn't spread, blah 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 blah. You end up with a mess like my last batch of these things was the first time I ever made them. But that's what making them's for, you learn. Right, now that you've gotten it almost evenly distributed on there, you just go around in squares like this, then along the middle, and you stick it in the fridge for half an hour. So it's about like this after sitting in a pot stewing for a good long time. And now I just spread it along the top to make that nice thin coating of chocolate, which is normal for the Nanaimo bars. Now this doesn't like spreading very well. I find last time I did this, it actually picked up some of the cream layer and mixed with it a bit. So here's hoping it doesn't do that this time, eh? Like this is spreading a bit better, I ended up adding not only an extra tablespoon of butter, but some cream. But I think this amount should do the job nicely. And then after this has to be put in the fridge a lot more. You'll find, if you look through the videos again, that this thing never got baked once. This is why I didn't call this a baking special. It's a Nanaimo special. Even though I've never been there. Born in Calgary, but I've never been any further west than that. Here we have this thing taken out of the fridge after goodness knows how long. You can see nice hard thing. I'm poking it with a finger. It's not doing anything. Let it get to room temperature, which it already has a bit. And then cut it with a sharp blade, preferably a knife, although my tongue will work in an emergency. I'm not going to cut the whole thing up because I don't want it right now. It will take too much time. I will, however, cut enough for my nice, helpful camera woman and myself to have a taste. If it's nice and hard as it should be, then it'll just come out neatly like this. Here you go. Nice 3 layers. And now my stuff. And remember this, dear viewers, particularly if you have 4 legs and low intelligence compared to a human being. Who has the opposable thumbs makes the rules.